I'm back in Heather's basement and I can't wait to show you all that she did. You might remember that this was actually over here, and so they've moved all that out, and then these shelves were over on this wall. This was actually where this was that we cleaned last time that you would have seen, and I'll have that video in my description box and at the end of this video. So now that all the horse stuff, the table was over here, and they moved it over here and put their daughter's things on there so that she could use it whenever she wants, which is just amazing. We don't know if this is going to stay here, but that's the other side. Might be where it might go, but we need to wait until we do that side. Heather and her daughter went through a lot of her toys, and so all of this is going. This up here is going. This is still going, but it's going to be a rather big project to get rid of the trampoline because just getting it through narrow doors is going to have to be taken apart. This is all going. This is all going. So tell me if you can relate that once you get started, it's just so much easier to keep on going. So today, Editor Karen replacing the sound. We were going to organize these two shelves and maybe get to these boxes down here, but we end up doing a huge declutter and getting all of this here decluttered and just a few things set aside for her daughter to look at. This video is part of a collab with other amazing YouTube creators that are going to help you get organized, decluttered, and all ready for the holidays. I'll have the link to the full playlist in my description box below. You're not going to want to miss one. Are you keeping this little, is this staying? What's your attachment to it? Having it for other children that come over? Because Anna might be a little bit big. Yeah, it is cute. You got me there. Oh my goodness, it's still shrinking. Yeah, so we're going to make a box for things that can be donated to a local church that then sells it as a fundraiser. So that's going to be its own specific box. And then we'll have another box for other, we got two more things that were also found. Some, isotoner gloves and a photo album. Nice. Okay, cool. All right, Merry Christmas to somebody. That's the thing. It's a perfect time to be donating. My Little Pony. The holidays is the best time to be decluttering toys and donating them because you're really helping people who can't afford to pay full price for toys at Christmas. Yeah, so you don't want, do you have a small box? Because it's going to get heavy quick. Then I have another box here for books that are just going to say Goodwill. Heather chooses not to be on camera, which is just fine with me. I really want her there, though, because it's important that she makes all of the decisions. I'm not pushing anybody to get rid of anything in their own home. We talk about what area they want to tackle, and then we just dive right in. I don't do any pre-planning at all. So once we got started, we realized that we needed one box that was for a local church sale. Heather wanted to donate the things that were sellable to that church so that they could raise money. And then other things that were gently used, she wanted to donate to Goodwill, so we had a box for that. And then we also had a garbage bag for things that were not going to be good enough for anyone. Within the Goodwill stuff, she had tons of books, so we end up using a separate box to put all the heavy books. We're keeping the lid. Yes. How about this? Keep or donate. Heather has a lot of nieces, nephews, great nieces and nephews that visit and play, and she wanted to keep a certain amount of things for them whenever they come over that they could be using. So these are going upstairs for food. You got one empty jar in here too. Ooh, you got a small batter bowl and a classic batter bowl? Oh goodness, I try not to get distracted, but sometimes I find real treasures in people's basements, and to me, Pampered Chef stuff are treasures, and Heather was keeping that to give as a gift at some point. You see how quickly we went from just doing the shelves to now diving into Rubbermaid boxes, and this made me very excited because this is when the real decluttering got started. Now, a lot of these boxes are just a mishmash of toys because when kids come over and they play with toys, of course, kids aren't concerned about whether things are kept in their sets, and a lot of these things she's had for years. So when kids would come over, they would just dive into these boxes, make their mess, and then throw it all in a box before they went home. And she actually had a lot of different sets. The beauty of having me there is I'm actually able to do what you would normally do for your kids when you're decluttering, and that is holding each item up and saying, okay, keep or declutter or trash, and then they're able to just make that quick decision. I honestly think when they're not even holding the item, it does give you a little bit of an emotional separation, but doing this with an adult is especially effective because an adult completely gets it and they're already on board for the declutter because that's why you're there. So this is very quick work.
Empty box.
Heather had quite a few Barbies, so we quickly decided that all of the Barbie stuff would go into that beautiful empty box. She'd like to get some better toy storage at some point, some sort of Rubbermaid or Sterlite unit that she could put all the toys in, but it's important to actually see what you have first before you make that decision. So I'm really there for the declutter part, and then she'll make that decision, and if she wants help, I'll go back and help her organize. In the meantime, we are literally rifling through every one of these toy boxes.
Oh my goodness, another empty box. Okay, I'm having fun.
As far as what we're keeping, it's stuff that goes into a complete set. So the Barbies are all going together. There's littlest pet shop things, Legos, Squinkies, which I've never heard of, but apparently is a thing. And then superheroes, a box of dress-up clothes, and a section of all Nerf things. So it's not just going to be random toys. These are actually sets that the kids can play with. We don't keep every set, but that's basically the stuff that we are keeping for kids to play with. The rest are just toy odds and ends, and honestly, those are the things that are always going to be creating a mess when kids come over, and they're hard to organize. So if it's just for kids that are visiting, there's really no need to be keeping all of the little random toys. Because of this, at this point, I kind of know what she wants to keep and what she wants to get rid of, so I'm able to just kind of go quickly, and she just corrects me when I am tempted to get rid of something that she wants to keep, or when I'm tempted to keep something she wants to get rid of.
Donate. Trash. 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 And trash.
While we were chatting, there was something that Heather said that I thought was so important and so completely true. She was saying it wasn't that she couldn't do this alone. It's just that when you are alone, it just feels tedious and overwhelming. And so it's really helpful to have a friend who's there to totally support you. All she has to do is to tell me, trash, donate, where to donate, keep. But I can do the manual work and support her decisions. And so I can hold things up, as I said before, and she can make those quick decisions. I don't give any homework. This definitely is not HGTV. This is 100% her making her own decisions for her own home. But having somebody there really helps you to schedule that appointment to do it. You know, it always feels like now's not a good time. So if you can put a date on a calendar when a friend is going to come over to help you, it'll make things so much easier. And if you're that person who wants to help someone else declutter, I think that watching this can be helpful, help you think through how you would do it if you were to go into their home. You know, maybe you would do it differently than me, which is fine. But it's just really helpful to think through what would be the best way that you could support a friend who wants to get their home decluttered. One thing I have noticed as I go into different people's homes is that the idea of organizing is a lot less threatening than the idea of getting rid of their things and decluttering. But once you get there and you start going through things, the decision quickly turns, and it may not be called a declutter, but decluttering definitely always happens.
Barbie. Empty box. Woo!
Woo! For now, we're putting these empty boxes on the shelf in case we decide to use them for storage.
Okay. Donate. Aw, that's so cute. That's so cute. And somebody did somebody stitched that. Oh my word. So somebody will be very happy by that. A mom. Okay, Dr. Acceptance.
If you're new to my channel and you're over here from the playlist, my name is Karen and I'm so happy to meet you. You'll find on my channel a lot of decluttering, organizing, cleaning, and some decorating. Whether you work outside the home or whether you're a stay-at-home mom or whether you're both like me, I know it's so important to create a home that you love because it really does fuel a life you love. So if that's something that you would find helpful, I invite you to go ahead, click on the subscribe button and the little bell. Okay, donate dinosaur. I feel like this is probably trash. This big intimidating box was mostly papers and books. All of the books were too young for Heather's daughter, and so we really are donating them unless they are of sentimental value. And of an entire box of books, she had another shelf of books, and she had books in another box. She probably only kept 3 or 4 books that were super sentimental, which I thought was amazing. So she's really getting rid of 95% of the things that are stored. And I wanted to talk a little bit about being on the receiving end of a toy donation, a book donation, a clothing donation for kids. When I was young and I had young children, there were a lot of people who very lovingly would bring me their hand-me-down things, and they really were trying to help. But it actually was very hard because they would bring me a large amount. As a matter of fact, years ago, I had someone, they were a foster mom and they were going to stop foster parenting. And they had tons of toys. They actually were going to adopt a child and the whole thing fell through. It was a very tough situation. And so they literally brought their entire basement of toys and set it in my dining room. Honestly, it filled an entire room. And I have to say, if you're tempted to do that, please do not ever do that for someone. Have them come to your house and pick out the things that they would like to have. So in this case for Heather, she did have some things she was setting out for someone else, but those are conversations that she had had or was going to have with them to say, do you want this specific item? And that is so much better. Otherwise, if you're bringing a whole load of boxes of toys, books, clothes, you're really creating a very large job for potentially already busy and frazzled mom. So it's more important that you donate either item per item or that you have them come on over to your house and see what they might like from your things. That's the hard part about decluttering, is stuff you weren't using before because it wasn't in a usable form.
Right.
But then it's, once you see it, then it's like, oh, it's hard to unsee. Well, that big scary box is now, whoa, and on the floor. This big box became the new donation box. All right, RoboCat. Dictionary Junior. Puzzle pieces. Trash. Oh, candle. Rock. Glasses, get rid of. Okay. Sleepy Bear, animal tracks. If you don't stop me, I'll get rid of them. Straw hat. As a recap, I just want to say again, if somebody wants to donate toys, clothing, books to you, I think it's entirely appropriate for you to ask either one, that you go to their house, pick up what you want, or 2, that they leave it in the car and you go pick up what you want. But having them bring it in and just put it on your floor, I feel like you're just creating another job for yourself. And if you need that stuff, I understand the temptation because I felt it too. I felt like I don't want to ask to go to their house, or I don't want to inconvenience them because they're being nice enough to donate things to me. And honestly, I was in a financial situation where it was super duper helpful because, you know, clothes and toys are very expensive. And so I just felt like I was doing them a service by letting them drop it off at my house, and then I could go through it for them, take out what I wanted, and bring the rest to Goodwill. But honestly, there always ended up being like odd socks and just crazy things in there, and it really was a lot of work. So I don't think it's inappropriate at all for you to just be honest and say, you know, I just don't have time to go through boxes at my home or to bring that stuff to Goodwill. And then there was always that guilt of getting rid of things that people gave you. So I do think it's a lot easier if you can have that conversation before the stuff even comes to your house, and just understanding that even if they did make the choice not to go through that work for you, you're probably honestly much better off. We are coming quickly to the end of this declutter, and I'm going to be so excited to show you how it all ended up. You know, at the beginning, when I first sat down with Heather before we even started any projects in her basement, she told me, I like my stuff, I'm sentimental, it's going to be hard for me to get rid of things, but it really wasn't. I think that oftentimes we don't really know what we have in our home. We really think it's stuff that we want, but it's really been so long since we've actually laid eyes on it that we're surprised to find out that there are so many things that is just clutter and that we don't want anything to do with. We're over it. And Heather has done such an amazing job. I honestly cannot believe how much she's gotten rid of already. So it gives me great confidence in how she really is going to be creating an amazing space for her daughter to spread out and have plenty of room to have friends over. And so it's really quite exciting because her daughter is a preteen. So as she gets older, it's going to be more and more important for her to have that space to have friends over. So this is really amazing. And I would just encourage you that if you think you do not want to get rid of anything in your home, or maybe you think there won't be much to get rid of, I promise you, once you start diving into boxes and storage areas, you are going to be surprised with the amount of things that's going to end up leaving your home, especially when you realize that you can really, done right, help someone else. Okay, are you ready to see the final progress of the day? Here it comes. So there we go. We've gone through all of the shelves. These are toys that we're going to have to figure out what containers we want them in for now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all of the housewares on this, because we do have these pans over here and like artwork that's, you know, not for kids. And then we can put the toys on this one. This whole process was about an hour and a half, and so 95% of the stuff is going. As I said, the toy stuff is all going on the right-hand side. You're going to be surprised at how many empty boxes there are. Here is all the stuff that Heather has decluttered and is getting rid of. This will be donated to a church who's having a sale. So this stuff is all in like new condition. And then this is going to Goodwill. And then we did separate out the books because at our Goodwill, you have to do that when you get there anyway. This is going, and these two are trash. And then this is the clear space where all those boxes were. So here we have some household things. Empty box, empty box. Empty, empty. And then these are mostly toys for when kids come over to play, nieces, nephews, friends. And then down here, the blue lid is her daughter's things. And then some more things for kids that come over to play. But look how gorgeous that is. Check out that full playlist in my description box below. And remember, as always, that God loves you and I love you too. And I can't wait to see you next time.